Today let's talk about how to make sticky rice dumplings, or Zongzi, or Chinese tamales, whatever you call them. Hello everyone, I'm Ariel and welcome to my channel. Here I share Chinese recipes, cooking and styling tips, and all things related to the Chinese food culture. This Thursday is when Chinese people all over the world eat these guys. They're called Chinese sticky rice dumplings. They come in all flavors, savory or sweet. If you go to a Chinese supermarket in your city at this time of year, chances are you're gonna find some of these in different flavors. But just like many other things in life, the ones you can easily find aren't nearly as good as the ones you get after making some effort yourself. So today I'm going to teach you how to make one of my favorite flavors, purple rice with red bean filling, which, by the way, isn't a flavor that you can easily find in supermarkets. At the end of this episode, I'll also show you what I think is the best way to enjoy this particular flavor of sticky rice dumplings. But first, you have to make them. So let's get started. To make this version of sticky rice dumplings, you will need glutinous rice, red bean paste, leaves for wrapping, and some kitchen twine for tying up the dumplings. For those of you who are just getting to know about the sticky rice dumplings, I will go through the ingredients for you one by one. All the things I've used are listed in the description box down below. For those of you who are more experienced, you can skip right to the making part using the time code. For rice, you need sticky rice, also known as glutinous rice or sweet rice. Today I'm using both white sticky rice and purple sticky rice. Make sure they have the words glutinous rice or sticky rice or these two characters on the packaging, because these sticky kinds are the kinds that give the dumplings their signature taste and texture. You need to pre-soak the rice to let it absorb enough water before you make your sticky rice dumplings, which I'll talk about later in the video. For the red bean paste, you can also get them store-bought. They usually come in a plastic package like this. You can find them in the refrigerated section. But if you really want to have the best tasting red bean paste, you should make your own. After you've tasted the homemade version of red bean paste, you will never be satisfied again with any store-bought. If you want to learn how to make it yourself, be sure to check out this video in which I teach you how to make it in 2 different ways. Now for the wrappers, the most commonly seen are the dried bamboo leaves. Because they've been dried, you need to soak them in water overnight before you use them. Some people also boil them a little bit right before they use them to make them resistant to tearing. If you're lucky, you can find the fresh ones like the ones I'm going to use today. They usually come in a stack of 50 in a vacuum-sealed package like this. Because they're fresh, they have a more vibrant green color, and you don't need to soak them. Just wash them thoroughly before use. Last but not least, make sure you have enough kitchen twine or some other kinds of cotton strings to use for tying them up. If you make different flavors, you can use different types or different colors to differentiate them. Now that we've gone through the list of things we need for making these sticky rice dumplings, let's get down to actually making them. Use a pot large enough to hold your rice and then put enough water in so the water level is at least 1 to 2 inches above the rice. Rice will soak up some water and increases its volume. If your rice is exposed to the air after it's been soaked, it will break apart and become powdery. On the day you plan to make the dumplings, pour the water out of your rice and give it a good rinse. Make sure you rinse thoroughly to remove any impurity and excessive starch in the water. If you're working with a big batch of rice, you can also pour more water in to keep the rice from drying out too quickly before you can finish wrapping all of them. I'm making 3 different kinds of red bean dumplings today: white rice, purple rice, and mixed rice. So first I'm taking some white rice and some purple rice, put them into a bowl and mix well. That will be my mixed rice. After my rice is ready, I'm laying all my other ingredients out. My red bean filling, bamboo leaves, kitchen twine, a pair of scissors, and an empty pot to hold all the finished rice dumplings. Because these are real leaves from real plants, their sizes might be very different. Wash your leaves clean, and then you can sort them roughly by their size and separate the bigger ones from the smaller ones. For this wrapping method I'm showing you today, we're going to need 2 leaves for each dumpling. It just makes your job a little easier if the 2 leaves you're using are about the same size. Then get your strings cut and ready. The strings need to be long enough to wrap around your dumpling 2 to 3 times and tie a knot. Because I also want to tie my dumplings together into a big bundle, I cut them extra long so they will have a long tail after I'm done wrapping them. My strings are about 35 inches long, but you can definitely have them shorter. Okay, now we're finally ready for the actual wrapping part. Take out 2 leaves you want to use, and then you will notice that one side is shinier and the other side is rough, because the shiny sides tend not to stick to the rice, and they're also prettier, so we want them to be both inside and outside. Put the 2 rough sides against each other and let the 2 shiny sides face outwards. Cut the stiff bases off. Hold your leaves horizontally with both hands. Make sure the leaves have about 1 inch not overlapping so you have a bigger area to work with. Make a fold at about 1/3 from the base of the leaves. Use your fingers to form a cone. Make sure the cone doesn't have any gaps or holes. Now use your free hand to scoop a spoonful of rice into the tip of the cone. Put a dollop of red bean paste in, then fill the cone with more rice. Now here's the tricky part. Use the other hand to hold the flap like this. Now at the same time, carefully free the index finger and the thumb of your cone holding hand to pinch the sides of the flaps inward. At the same time, slowly close the flap with your other hand. Make sure no rice is falling out, and then close your palm slowly to secure the flap while shifting the fingers of the other hand to secure the flap even more. Now your dumpling should be turned 90 degrees. Fold the extra part of the flap along the edge like so, and secure it again. At this point, you should have a completed dumpling with 4 pointy corners like so. Make sure all sides are tight and secure and nothing is leaking out. Wrap a string several times around it to secure everything. Tie a knot, and then your first dumpling is completed. Let's watch this again in close-up. Pick your leaves, cut the bases off, make them face the right way, make a cone, hold it tight, put rice in, red bean paste in, rice in again to top it off, and then fold the top flap. Pinch the sides with the other hand while doing it. Pinch and close the flap tightly while turning the dumpling sideways. Fold the rest over. And then tie the whole thing securely. Let's watch it from another angle one last time. Repeat the steps to make more dumplings to fill the pot. Now that we've got a whole pot of dumplings, let's boil them. Fill your pot of dumplings with water and then cover with something heavy like a plate or a bowl. This is because you don't want the dumplings to be tumbling around and falling apart inside your pot while they're being boiled. Bring the water to a boil, turn the heat down, and then simmer for 3 to 4 hours. When your dumplings are cooked through, get them out of the pot and rinse with cold water for several minutes. This step is very important for dumplings wrapped with fresh leaves. Because the dumplings are still so hot, if you expose them to the air before they cool down, the fresh leaves will get burnt by the hot steam and dry out immediately. This doesn't affect the flavor of the dumplings. They will still be delicious, but they won't look nearly as pretty without the shiny outside. After the rinse, put the dumplings into a pot with ice water and then store them in the fridge to keep fresh for several days. If you want to keep them for longer, you can put them in the freezer and next time just boil them again to soften before you eat them. You can just eat the sweet dumplings on their own or dust them with some sugar to sweeten them even more, but my personal favorite way of enjoying these is to pair them with coconut milk and some diced mangoes. Dust your plate with some powdered sugar, pour out some coconut milk, and finally dice your mangoes. Unwrap your dumpling and put it into the bowl and top with your diced mangoes. The aroma of the bamboo leaves has been incorporated into the rice. Pair with the sweetness of the red bean paste, the rich coconut milk flavor, and the tartness of the mango dices. It is the perfect treat for celebrating Dragon Boat Festival. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something interesting. Comment down below to let me know your thoughts or any questions that you might have. Subscribe to my channel for more videos about Chinese food culture, and give this a try and then tag me on Instagram to let me see your dishes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.